Okay, we are starting our very first big team training, and the NMDs came together and we decided that on a monthly basis, we're gonna focus on a particular training, and throughout the course of the year, cover the big chunks of training when it comes to our Juice Plus business. And so starting off this very first one, mindset was, it's kind of like if our mindset isn't right, we're not going to get far. So this one just made sense to kick it off. And so what we're going to do is each month, one of the NMDs are going to tackle a particular training topic. And then the rest of the month, we are going to just camp out on that topic. And so here's where you guys come in. I would love for everyone to get on board. And when you find great trainings, videos, tips, ideas, let's share them with each other. There's a proverb that I love to use, and it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And I feel like that's the value of these big team training, is we are all here together to help each other grow. And so the last 30 minutes of this call, we're going to do just that. We're going to hear from you guys. If you've got challenges, or if you got ideas, or whatever it is, we want to hear from anybody who wants to share some thoughts. So what I'm going to do right now is, everybody get your thinking caps on, because we're going to go back to school. And what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through a personal assessment. I've been feverishly chatting with Letty and Brenda and listening to podcasts and reading everything I could get my hands on mindset. And I am telling you what, I am fired up about this topic, because what it did for me is it started revealing some things personally that I need to work on, as well as maybe areas that I thought, you know what, hey, I'm pretty good in that area. But what I realized is how much further I have to go. So whether we are going from average to good or good to great in an area, it doesn't matter, because what we want to see is movement in the right direction. And so I'm going to share with you guys this assessment. We're going to walk through it, and then we are going to post it on the different Facebook groups so that you can snag it. What I want you to do is print it out and then take the assessment after you've heard the talk tonight. And I want you to save it, because I want us to December 2019 to pull these assessments out and let's do this again. And what we want to see is every category increased. Whether, like I said, we're going from average to good or good to great, we want to see progress. And, you know, this to me, January is like one of my absolute favorite time of year. And so what I feel like we're doing is preparing for the new year. And we're making sure our mindset is what it needs to be to really have an explosive blowout year. So I'm sharing my screen with you, and let's get started. Okay, so having a success mindset. All right, we're gonna walk through, we're gonna identify two different, a negative mindset that we may have, but we're not camping out on it. We're gonna camp out on the positive. That what you see in yellow is the activity, and then what you see in parentheses at the end is a tool. So what we're identifying an area that we want to change, we're replacing it with a mindset that we want to adopt or get stronger in. Then we're looking at what's the activity that's going to help us make that switch, and then what's the tool that's going to hold us accountable to it. So let's get started. Comfort versus courage. I tell you what, I started with this one on purpose, because I don't think this one's intentional, at least not for myself, but I can't even tell you how quickly I can get into my comfort zone. And I don't think about pushing myself and challenging myself and encouraging myself to get out of that comfort zone. It doesn't even cross our mind. And I think sometimes this whole area of mindset, we're in a mindset and we don't even acknowledge it. And so if you're one of those people like me who thought, okay, I'm in this comfort range, what am I doing to become more courageous? What steps am I taking? And so I'm going to challenge you guys, do at least, and I know you've heard this, do at least one thing a day that stretches you and makes you feel uncomfortable. And what I personally am going to do is take this year, in 2018, what I did was every day wrote down something new that I learned. That was one of my goals. So that was my 365 bullet journal. And this year, coming up 2019, I'm going to personally take on this challenge. Maybe you say, I'm going to do it once a week. That's okay too. But journal your action steps, those courageous steps. And I am here to tell you, if we're not tracking all this stuff, it's probably not going to happen, and it's probably going to fizzle out. So if you're tracking it, whether it's weekly, daily, monthly, whatever you choose, track it, track it. So journal, first thing, how do we get out of our comfort zone? Do something uncomfortable every single day and write it down. So we're gonna, once this is over, I'm gonna send this out and you guys can score yourself, 1 being the weakest, 10 being the strongest. And let's keep this and keep it as a reminder. The second thing, self-doubt versus belief. You know, when I think about this self-doubt versus belief, I can't talk too loud. I'm gonna have to get quiet because I don't want my husband hearing me tell on him. But I am telling you, one of my absolute favorite things about Scott Mason is this memory that I have of him. I remember when we first started dating, and I say this to any moms who have sons who've gone off the deep end. I married one, and they can come back and be very successful. So I say there's always hope if you've got a wayward one. But anyway, in college, he totally made a complete shift. And I remember one of the things he absolutely embraced was affirmations. And when I think about if we have self-doubt, the action we need to take or the activity we need to do is we need to have 5, 10, 15 affirmations that we are drilling into our head. And I'm telling you what, this is what I loved about Scott Mason. I remember opening the door, jumping in his car to go somewhere in college, and I'd be like, how's your day? And he would be like, I feel good, I feel great. And I'm telling you what, if I had a bad day and I literally say, how's your day? And I would hear, I feel good, I feel great. I'm telling you what, I started feeling good and I felt great. And I loved being around him. And I'm just thinking that belief in who he truly was going through a transformation. I believe those affirmations really played a key part. And so be aware when you have those self-doubts arise. We're all going to have them. And I've asked the NMDs on our team in this last 30 minutes to share, because it doesn't matter where we are on this spectrum and where we are in this business. Every single one of us can identify with the negative mindset. I guarantee you we all can identify some way, somehow, some point in time. And so I just want everyone to know this is a process for all of us. And I want us all to lock arms. And so when it comes to these affirmations, be aware when you see those self-doubts arise and be prepared with affirmations to begin changing that doubt into belief in yourself. Anybody who's on this call who's ever done that 4 beliefs training, where belief in the industry, belief in our company, belief in our product, belief in ourselves, what is the number one thing that's the biggest struggle with people? It's belief in themselves. That's the hardest one. And so we all deal with it. I think when we're aware of it, the better off we're going to be. And Brenda just told me, and I downloaded it, but I haven't gotten into it yet. There's an app. It's called Think Up app. I don't know if anyone's aware of that, but it sends you affirmations based on your preferences. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is the kind of thing, waking up and seeing an app or an affirmation that wakes you up. It's just small little things that over the course of a year, we're going to change our mindset. The next thing, closed versus opened. Closed versus open. Have you ever been around somebody who's closed-minded? Is that not one of the most frustrating and uncomfortable things to be around. And so think about how open are you versus how closed are you? And what is the activity if we're leaning more toward that closed versus open? What's the mentality? It's a growth mentality. I mean, who doesn't love to be around? Don't you love being around someone who says, oh my gosh, have you read this book? Did you see this? Did you hear about that? Have you heard about, as Brenda shared, this Think app with me, Think Up app? I love being around people who are constantly growing, developing. So here's a question. How many books did you read in 2018? How many books do you want to learn to read in 2019? One of my goals is to read 18 books a year, 6 business books, 6 health books, and 6 personal development books. But I got to tell you, what I am into now, and I know wearing y'all out, are these podcasts. They have totally revolutionized my thinking already. These Eric Worre podcasts alone, and here's what's doing that. I've got goals for what I want to accomplish in this business before I retire, semi-retire. I don't think you could ever retire in this business. But these podcasts have totally, I listen to these podcasts, they're by Eric Worre, and they're $1 million a year earners. Have you ever thought about earning $1 million in a year? Well, I had my bar too low of what I wanted to make in this business. And I'm telling you what, as I listen to those podcasts, I keep thinking, if they can, why can't I? If they can, why can't I? So you guys, let's really get in our heads this growth mentality and step away from that closed to an open mind and saying, it is possible. You know what? What am I feeding my mind? We preach all the time what we feed our body. What are we feeding our mind? What are we constantly, daily taking in? All right, that next one, low self-esteem versus confidence. And many of you guys, when I've said this, I've had several people, oh yeah, I've heard of that. The Goya principle, get off your ass. Love that. I started laughing the first time I heard that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. When you think about a time when you're most confident in your life, when is that? It's right after you've experienced success. So if success breeds confidence, how do we get success? Is it like the chicken and the egg? What I think about is, to be successful, we got to get out and do something. We got to get off our ass and get in gear. It's that activity, it's that action, it's that movement that causes us to be successful. And even if we do the smallest of things, tracking what we're being successful with counts. I'm telling you what, I check off every time I post my hot hands list in my Voxer chat. That is a success. Why is it a success? Because I am moving in the direction that I want to go. So what we want to do is make sure, if you're not on those planning calls on Sunday nights, you are missing out, because that is success. We're planning for success. So if you're dealing with low self-esteem, or maybe you don't have the confidence you want, right here's the answer. The activity is getting off our ass, and the tool is, I love the hot hands list, looking at our memory jogger and making a plan every Sunday night. All right, next mindset category. Are we more of a flashlight or a laser? I remember, and I know Linda is out of town tonight, but I remember maybe 3 or 4 months in the business. I will never forget this call. Linda and I are on the phone together. I can remember where I'm standing. And Linda, we were talking about this business. And Linda was like, you guys know Linda, man. She was on the board of this and speaking at that and doing the flowers for this event. I mean, the girl had a million things going on. If you know her, you know what I'm talking about. And I remember saying, Linda, I'm like, do you want to go to National Marketing Director with me? Because I want to go. And she was like, absolutely, you're not going without me. I'll never forget this conversation. And I said, if that's the case, you have got to quit everything you're doing, and you and I have got to laser focus on this business. Are you in or not? And she was like, I'm in. And I remember both of us just quitting everything and saying, and not that we have to do that always, but there has got to be a period of time that we have laser focus if we want to move our business forward in a substantial way. If we truly want to make progress, we have to laser focus. And I think so many times we got a flashlight going on, and we've got so many things that are distracting us. And I say shuck them down to the core four. What are 4 things you have to do? But man, laser focus on this business. How are you doing? Are we in this mindset that we got to be all to everyone? Or are we ready to focus and laser focus? All right, the next category, scarcity versus generosity. When I say the word generosity, who is the person you're picturing in your mind right now? As I'm thinking of this, the same person comes to my mind every time, and I know you guys have heard me say this, but his name is Steve Franklin. And he and his wife have been literally mentors of Scott and mine for 30 years from a distance. I mean, the guy is a professor at Emory University. He has started, I don't know how many businesses, knows everyone who's in real estate in Atlanta, has been on Fox News. He's written a book, several books. I mean, but what I know when I think of Steve Franklin is his generosity. And here's an example. I mean, I could give you so many examples, but he had his 70th birthday party, and we were at the lake coming back through and went to his birthday party. It was another business he had started. He just got named Atlanta's, I forget, I'll have to ask my husband, like the #1 barbecue restaurant in Atlanta. And so it's a whole nother venture he's in. And so I just remember going there with our girls saying, my girls didn't know him, but we were like, if you guys are smart, you will get 10 minutes with him by yourself, and you will pick his brain, because the guy knows everybody in Atlanta. And sure enough, I see my youngest, who wants to go into corporate real estate, pulling him to the side and talking to him. And immediately, what does he start doing? What do you think he's doing? Immediately, he starts throwing out names, giving my daughter one connection after another. You want to go into real estate? My other one wants to go into You want to go into advertising? Immediately, he starts connecting. I mean, that, you guys, you talk about somebody who everybody loves. His barbecue probably could be the worst barbecue in the world. But I guarantee he'd still win the award, because everybody loves him, because he is so generous. And you guys, that's what we want to be. That's the mindset we want to have, is we want to give of our time, of our energy, of our efforts, of our knowledge, of our money, of whatever we have to give. And I am telling you what, it will come back tenfold to us. And the activity is, we've got to practice it every single day. How can I be generous? How can I be generous? How can I have impact? Who can I talk to? And our tool is the amazing videos that we have. You guys, we have the ability to be generous when it comes to health, and we have a tool to be generous when it comes to people's wealth. We have unbelievable ability in our hands. Are we going to choose to use it in 2019? Are we going to be generous people? I'm telling you, the more generous we are, the more we will attract. All right, next line item, ownership versus excuses. Have you ever been around people who will not take ownership? And it's one excuse after another. And I gotta be honest, I can be like that sometimes. I don't like anyone to pick me apart if I've done something wrong. You know, that's probably a pride issue, but let's catch ourselves when we start those excuses. It is a choice. Think like an owner. We own a Juice Plus franchise. You guys, we have no limits on how much money we can make. We have no limits on how many people we can talk to. We have no limits on the boundaries of where we want to go with this business. We have no limits to how many times a week we want to talk to people and to share. It is our choice. So the activity is our choice. We get to choose if we want to act like an owner or make excuses like an employee. And I think with all my heart, the tool to make that switch from ownership, from excuses to ownership, sorry, I got those switched around, is, do you have any goals? What do you want to do with this business? How many people have you ever thought, when I die, I want to know that I've impacted 10,000 people? I want to know, I got to be honest, I believe in heaven. I can't wait to get to heaven. And one of the first things I want to know is how many people's lives and health were impacted because of sharing Juice Plus with them. Wouldn't you want to know that? That kind of blows my mind when I think about it. So write your goals down. What inspires you? Is it money? Is it people? Is it stories? Is it thinking about the future, thinking about your kids? What inspires you? And I'm telling you guys, let loose and write down goals. I think people shy away from goals because I think I don't know how to write. I don't know how to do that. Who cares? Write down what you want. Write down the desires of your heart. We're gonna throughout the month of December, this is just a kickoff for the month of December on mindset, that we are gonna post all these tools throughout the month. And one of them is gonna be a goal sheet. And I'm gonna challenge you guys. Let's all take ownership. If we're at a 6 in this category, let's get to a 10. And let's do it because we got goals and we know what we want and we're gonna go after them in 2019. The next thing, failure versus success. You guys, let me just read this statement and I want you to think of write these names down. You become the composite of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are your 5 people right now? Who are the first 5 people that came to your mind? And let me ask you something. Would you hire them to be your mentor? Would you hire them to be your coach? I'm not saying you got to cut off any ties with anyone, but we better know who we're getting the most advice from. And is it people who truly will spur us on to success and be mentors of success for us? Or are they people that hold us back? Think about that. I've been hearing a lot of talk on this terminology, level up. Let's make a conscious effort in 2019 to level up when it comes to our mentors. And I'm here to tell you right now, I mentor about 5 younger women who are business outside of Juice Plus. I thought, why am I doing that when I don't have a mentor? I'm here to tell you and promise I'm finding me a mentor in 2019 that I truly will invest in me. And you guys, and I'm going to make that person become one of my 5. And so I'm going to challenge you guys to do the same. You know what? When we're around people, you know, I think about, I don't know how many of you read that book. Oh gosh, I just lost the title of it in my head, but it was Outliers, the book Outliers. And it talked about, I remember the story about when you had kids who played baseball and why kids with a late birthdays in the last half of the year, why they were better athletes. And when they researched it further, it was because those parents held them back a year. So when they put them in those sports groups, they were always the oldest ones in the group. So consequently, they built this confidence that was unbelievable. And so because of the confidence that was built, they acted upon it. And this was nothing what I was going to talk about. I'm sorry, I'm going rogue here. I guess I'm thinking about that leveling up. You know, they were, you know, when you think about kids getting in these different teams, those kids, a year when your kid's in the 4th grade and you got kids in there who are a year older, 1 year makes a huge difference. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track there, but that leveling up, let's go find people who can mentor us and encourage us and take us to a whole new level. Next, personality versus rewiring. You ever had anyone tell you, oh, I can't do that. I can't do this business. I'm an introvert. Or, my personality, I'm more reserved, or whatever reason. They're blaming their personality for why they can't do something. And I'm here to tell you, we've got every single person on this call has the perfect personality for this business. And the reason is, I don't care what your background, male, female, old, young, introverted, extroverted. I mean, if you go to conference and listen to those national marketing directors, they're all different. And so I'm telling you, it's a matter of rewiring our brains. One of the podcasts I'm going to share this month that I listened to was phenomenal. And it was about, we have no idea the impact our thoughts have on actually what happens. And he talked about if we have to rewire our thinking. And that is done, that activity is creating habits. And he said, a lot of times you hear him say 30 days. And what they're saying is no. He said, he goes, these habits are like grooves in our brain and they just keep getting deeper. And he said, it really takes between 100 and 350 days to create a new groove in our brains. So all I can think about is if you've ever hiked a mountain and you're at the top of the mountain and it starts raining and the water's running down and all of a sudden you see these grooves taking place down through the leaves. How do you stop the water going in a particular direction? So you kick a stone in front of that. What happens? Immediately the water starts to create a new groove. We got to put some stones up in our brains and stop some of the wiring that's happened since childhood and start a new groove going in another direction. And that literally happens because of habits, creating habits. And this is one habit that I'm going to put in place for myself. I have kind of what many years ago, I don't know where I heard this. I think I probably got it from Scott. About everything I get from Scott. But it was called daily success rituals. And maybe you're a night person, but it was daily morning success rituals where every morning you get up and you're doing certain things, whether, it's spending time, meditating, praying, reading, exercising, getting your day off strong. And I've always done that. But this year, after going through all that I've learned, I'm going to add a few more daily success rituals in the morning. And one of them's going to be is to read Jim Rohn's 9 quotes. And we'll share that with you this month. Powerful. Imagine if I took 365 days and read those 9 quotes every morning. Do you think I'm going to be a different person this time next year? I tell you what, I'm getting myself fired up. All right, last one. Limited time versus unlimited opportunities. And this is something that I hear a lot when I'm talking to business. Oh, I don't have time. That's probably the number one pushback that we get. But what if we challenge people to think about the unlimited opportunity we have in our hands? I think back, what if I would have said 18 years ago, my husband travels all the time, so I'm like a single mom. I've got 2 little girls. I handle everything in the household. I don't have time for this. I could have justified that comment. But look at this unbelievable opportunity I would have passed up on. You guys, do not let limited time. It's what do we value? And if you're not on those Sunday night calls, we take 10 minutes and we time block. And I'm telling you what I see on there? A lot of people who are working full-time jobs, they're the ones getting on that call. And why is that? Because they know they do have limited time, but they realize the unlimited opportunity. can we make that switch to unlimited opportunity? And if that's the case, the activity is to make sure we are scheduling our time, and the tool is time blocking. All right, so we just barreled through 10 mind shifts that we're probably all we fall somewhere on this 1 through 10. And probably most of us aren't dealing with huge negative things that are pulling us down, but maybe we're just sticking around 5 or 6. And my question to you guys, do you want to be a 5 or 6 next year in those categories? Or do we want 9s and 10s, 8, 9s, and 10s? It isn't going to happen unless we are intentional about it. And this whole mindset thing is huge. And so I'm going to challenge you guys, take this assessment and let's revisit it and take it again next year. And let's stay focused on it all year long. All right, I'm going to take a minute now, and I am going to open up the line. Well, I'm going to leave you guys muted, but I want to hear from some of you all. So unmute yourself and let me hear if you've got, hey, here's an issue. I'd love to hear the positive of it, the activity, and the tool. If we didn't hit something you wanted to hear, let's hear it. Or maybe we did hit something and you've already dealt with it and had success, and you've got some tips to share, some tools, some training, some videos. So I want this to be, I want us back to that verse I started with. As iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. You guys, let's get sharp in 2019. Let me hear from you.
Elaine, before we do that, when you were talking about flashlight versus laser, one of the things you didn't get to was the blue tracker. Can you talk about that for a second? Because I think that's such an incredible tool.
All right. One of the tools that we created earlier in 2018 was, we call it the blue tracker form. And what it does is takes a look at a snapshot. A lot of times I was having people say, I don't really know what to do. Okay, so if I sit down and I've got 5 hours of Juice Plus time to work a week, what do I do? And it literally takes you through, and I did it with icons because I'm learning that's how we think these days. We think in pictures. And so it's a quick snapshot to say, have I contacted those customers whose orders are going out? Have I made connections with new distributors? Have I made, have I educated myself? Have I got on Voxer? Have I got on my team's Facebook to see what's going on and to get new ideas to share with people? So that's going to be another tool that we will definitely promote over the course of December, so that if you guys need a tracking form, because I feel like with this whole training, the key is tracking our progress. What we're doing with this assessment, we're getting a baseline. We got to track our progress, and then we're going to reassess next year. Thanks, Brenda.
Sure.
Who else?
Hi, guys. So I want to say I'm sorry again about how I look. But I'm so glad I made the effort to go on this call, because a lot of your key bullets that you said hit me personally throughout my whole life. And I've always been the oddity in my family, and I've always had that blockage and that wall put up for me because of my culture and my background and how I'm supposed to be. And I always wanted to be healthier, and I loved fitness, and I loved natural way of life. And I felt my growth and my transition and on every bullet that you hit. And I loved it, and it hit me a lot. But my biggest part is keeping that momentum going, because I am at war, not at war, but I'm against my family. I'm against my culture. I'm against my family's way of life. And my way of life, entrepreneurship and healthy living, is not part of that. My family, yes, but not my,
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for sharing and just being vulnerable and sharing that with us. And here's what I'm excited to say is you have a community. I don't know how many, we're up to almost 60 people on this call who are right there with you. And I think we're going to do these monthly calls that bring us all together. Hopefully you're on Voxer, you're on whose team are you on? Stacy's team. So you know you're being surrounded with positive influence, tools, people, and that's the beautiful thing about network marketing and what we're doing. We're not doing this alone. We are coming together as a team. And I just want you to know you've got permission to go, you know, anybody you see on this call would more than happy to talk with you, lock arms with you, switch, you know, exchange Voxers with you, email, whatever. Anytime you need that support, that's what I want us as a team to be here for each other. And so
I've only been doing it 3 months since August 5th. And I can honestly say as far as my business, because I'm a Reiki master and no one understands that as well. So I feel like I could honestly say I found a place and I have a community that I'm comfortable enough to do that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, tips? Allison, are you on here? You shared something on Voxer with me today, and I did not share it because I want you to share your thoughts on, are you hearing me? I see your name. All right, we'll give her a minute. Anybody else?
Another thing that we talked about in terms of affirmations, first of all, I wanted to talk for a minute about the Think Up app because it is so cool. You can even record, it will send you affirmations. You can even record yourself saying the affirmations and put a time on it that'll come back on and you can hear yourself saying all kinds of wonderfully positive things. And also I know a lot of people in our team know about the I Am cards that Lauren LaHave does. You can actually get them on Amazon for $20, and there's 52 different cards, one for every week, and they're really powerful.
All right. It'll be your job then to make sure that gets posted on where to go.
Yes, ma'am.
So
where to go get that.
I'm going to jump in with a few tips, Elaine, if that's okay. All right. We all love, I'm getting messages from my team like, she's incredible. We love her. This is so great. So of course I'm love to you because you always do such a tremendous job. But I wanted to just add a few little things. The one that I love is the laser focus. I think it's super important. I am a flashlight. This is who I am. I'm a lighthouse. I shine out, right? I'm not so focused. So I have to work really hard on it. And I've done something that really helps me, which is setting a timer. It's not something I created. It's techniques that people use for years and years. But I find that setting a timer and blocking like 4 30-minute blocks, and it depends on your day and your schedule. You may have 5 minutes. You may have 10. You may have 2 hours. You need to figure out what that looks like for you. But I did it today, and I went through my whole hot hands list of 20 people. I called every single one of my customers that was shipping in the next 10 days. I answered a bunch of emails. I got so much done because I kept setting a timer and focusing on that and nothing else. If my phone would beep, I would swipe it away and deal with it later. In 2.5 hours, I think I got almost a week worth of work done. It was incredible. I was like, wow, I could take the rest of the day off. This is great. But really, I love that. And Lauren LaHave, again, she talks about literally wearing goggles. And she has them on her desk. And she puts, I don't know if she really puts them on, but she says she does. And she focuses like with those goggles on, like blinders, nothing else but what's in front of her. So I love that. Try doing the timer. Thinking like a business owner, I went through health coaching school. And one of the things they would say to us was, think like a 6-figure earner. What does a 6-figure earner wear? How does a 6-figure earner talk? Where does a 6-figure earner shop? What do they eat? Where do they eat? And I know it sounds silly, but the more you start putting yourself literally in that position, right? So I like to look at myself as $1 million business owner. What does $1 million business owner, who do they talk to? Who do they socialize with? What do they say? And not that you're going to become snobby. That's not what I'm saying. But the confidence, the mindset, and put yourself literally in that position so that you become that person. You're not trying to copy someone. You're literally becoming that. And that will come off in everything that you do. And then I'm going to give you 2 quick book suggestions, and then I'll let somebody else jump in if they'd like. One, if you haven't read, is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. He is my favorite. Definitely pick that up. It's called The Compound Effect, and it talks about rewiring, and it talks about habits. And we are a collection of habits. And by changing one little thing, the compound effect of it can change the trajectory of your life forever. So compound effect. And the other one for the confidence was Go for No. And it's all about going for no. Instead of trying to get those yeses, try to get some no's. And it's incredible what happens. It's a quick read. It's actually funny. It's read like a novel. It's a great one. So Go for No and The Compound Effect. And I'm done. Pass it up.
Thank you, Letty. That's awesome. Awesome tips. And we're going to capture all this and get it. Hopefully we're going to put it all in one place so we can all pull from it whatever we need.
Perfect.
Kim?
I have 1 or 2. You guys, this is what I love the most about our community. I'm in my bed makeup list with my mouth guard in. Yet, here we are. So that's amazing. Okay, couple things. Elaine, when you were talking about what comes first, the chicken or the egg, like the confidence or the success, one of my favorite quotes from conference a couple years ago, and I say it at least once a week, is that doubt takes us out of action, but action takes us out of doubt. And it's so, so true. Like whenever we're feeling stuck, that whole Goya thing, just do something. Have an event, have a conversation. Just doing something every single time, I feel like is always what starts my momentum back up. Like you could sit and think about it or plan it all day long, but you're not going to have momentum or feel good or feel confident until you're actually doing it. The other thing is, I really love like that one of those things is the mindset of generosity, because for me personally, that is like, I just feel like a trait that I really admire in people. And I feel like it's a core value of mine. And I really think I want to position moving forward. I was thinking about it right as you said it, because it's such a meaningful thing to me. I think I really want to start sharing with the people that I'm communicating the value of this business with, or the value of this product with, that one of the things that lights my fire is being generous with this information. You know, like I'm as generous as I can possibly be with my time and my money. But I have found that I feel so generous with this information, and I can't unhear what I've heard and that kind of thing. Because I do think that that is a great thing to be able to share with people. That really one of the reasons you're having this conversation is because you want to be generous with what you know about this. Because that's something that matters to you. I also had written level up before that even came out of your mouth, Elaine. I think one of the things we can all do as we identify a mentor or two, and I think that's really important to do, even outside of our industry, outside of our, you know, anything. I want to share this chart, Elaine, that you went over with them. Like I would love to, you know, I have 1 or 2 in mind, and just say, hey, these are the things that I'm going to be working on this year. Like, tell me where you think you are on this list, or how you know, because that's what a mentor is there for. And then the last thing I want to say is, I think one of the most important things that Elaine shared tonight, and this is another one that I'm going to now use in daily conversation, is not letting limited time keep you from unlimited opportunity. That's the, I mean, that is like, it just nails it. Because one of the only things keeping people from capitalizing on this unlimited opportunity is their limited time. Right? And it's like, to just understand that and be able to share that with somebody really passionately, I think could be really powerful in any conversation that we're having. Truly.
I love your points, Kim.
So thank you.
One thing, as you were talking back to the whole generosity, and that's one of my favorite ones too. It reminds me, many years ago, I remember Wendy Campbell doing a talk, and she actually had a CD and she had a ribbon tied around it. and she was talking about, well, I don't know if it was before do you remember this? And
Yeah.
she was holding
Like
it and
a
like
gift.
handing it, saying, we have a gift we're giving to people. Don't hold back sharing. We are giving them a dang gift. Act like it. And she was, you know how she can get. It was, I never forgot that.
You could just hand out bows at your next event. I am handing you a gift right here. Take your bow on the way out.
Yes.
So
Love
this
it.
is Stacy. Can I just say one quick thing?
Yes.
Okay, so as we're saying, like, how much we love this business and mindset, I had to go food shopping, and I was food shopping while I was listening to this. And as I was at the checkout, you're going, and the woman who was checking me out was like, "What is that?" I said, she's like, "Oh, is that like a motivational speaker?" So next thing I know, I'm in a full-blown conversation about what I'm doing and what this is. And now I have her connection. I actually have her phone number, and we just became friends on Facebook. And because I had to do life while we were doing our work, I just got a new connection. But so how fun is that? But what I wanted to share with you guys is this. So now let's talk about mindset in the level that Elaine just said, but let's talk about the next 6 weeks. We are in the beginning of this one long holiday adventure, right? From now until January something, we have a lot of people go into kind of not stagnant, but they get into the mode of, I'm going to wait till the new year. So many people have this all or nothing mindset. It's kind of like with food, right? It's like, well, I didn't eat good for Thanksgiving, so I'm not going to eat good till January 3rd, you know? And what we want to really focus on is people are sleeping right now. You guys have to understand that people check out until the new year because they are busy because of, these 2 big days, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, they're a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But this doesn't mean that we can't be productive during the time that we're working. And it's so important that you understand that a lot of people kind of take this time off. We need to crank it up. We need to take advantage of the opportunity right now that people are kind of chilling. They're not doing much. So this is our time to step in, own where we're at, and not let this time of year become an excuse, but become an opportunity to keep digging in. We should be running full steam ahead until like the 20th or the 21st. Yes, we have to go shopping and we have other things to do, but we can do that on our off time. It doesn't have to be during our focused, intentional Juice Plus time. It should never be Juice Plus or going Christmas shopping. It's not one or the other. You can do both. So I just recommend that, these next few weeks, these next 6 weeks, we should not be stopping. It should be pedal to the metal. We should, of course, be indulging and enjoying this incredible time of year, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of our business. So as we go into this time, let's not forget that our mindset plays a role here. We don't have to kick back in January something. We can start again today, tomorrow, tonight. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Love that, Stacy. And I love the fact you just got yourself maybe a new team member. So that's awesome. And you know what? I'm so glad you brought that point up because about, like you said, pedal to the metal until right before Christmas. Because if you think about it in our business, it literally is what we do today. We see the results 3 months from now. So if we want to really kick off the year, we need to be lining up, people who are, ready and to really get off and get started. Because our activity now, it's going to show up probably right around the 1st of January. So any other thoughts or comments? We're about 50 minutes in. I'm fired up now. I can't go to sleep anyway. So I can love any more thoughts, tips, ideas. Let me hear them if you got them. All right. I guess I wore everybody out. Sorry if I yelled too loud. I was a cheerleader. Sometimes my husband will go, I'm right here, Elaine. So sorry. Okay, you guys, thanks for being part of this call. Just know tons of training tips. Don't get overwhelmed. If you can't get them all, don't worry about them. Snag what you can. We'll get this assessment out to you. I challenge you to take it. Let's take a look at it 1 year from now. And you guys, let's like Stacy said, let's put the metal to the pedal and let's go into 2019. Just, guns a-blazing. Let's do it. All right. Thanks, you guys, and good night.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Elaine.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you. Loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is great.
Excellent.
And Elaine, you'll post the recording, right?
I will. Yes, I'll do
Awesome.
that right now.
I've had a lot of people ask me, so
Okay. Sure.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you.